and not the top bar hive. Top bar hives are a little inexpensive way to get into beekeeping, but you still have to know about bees. It's the same whether they're in the side of your house or under a shed, in a conventional hive or in a top bar hive. You still have to know what to look at when you open up your hive if you're doing any good. We're going to have a lot of discussion on this. I have some books that David has that was put out for children, but it's the easiest way to learn about bees that I have ever seen. So we got DuPont to buy several hundred or thousand maybe for Shangri-La, and they're through with them, so I brought them out here so everybody could get one. You look through it, some of the stuff you can look at and tell it's for kids, but it's true to the facts that's in it. So you'll learn about bees easy that way. This is called First Lessons in Beekeeping. And one of the first things we're going to talk about is how to educate yourself on it. Next to that book, this book right here, titled First Lessons in Beekeeping by, well, it's Dayton, C.P. Dayton. I had to look through because there were three brothers. This book is still available. It's available on the internet. Old issues, the new issues are in color. That's the only difference. If you know everything that's in there, you'll know 10 times more than I do. This is the easiest way. Next to that, this really gets down into working on a hive. So if you want to take notes, these run on the internet. I bought a couple from people, I think it's about $3. Some people think they've got a treasure and they want 25 to 30. I think new they're about 12 or 15. But you can look around also on a website called Abe's Books. And when you type in your name, type in First Lessons in Beekeeping and ask, they'll ask the author, and the author is Dayton, D-A-D-A-N-T. The next best one, I don't have it on the list, but it was put out by the government, believe it or not. These are still available online. The government quit printing them years ago, and it's entitled Beekeeping in the United States. It's about twice as thick as that other one I just showed you. It's got a lot more pictures in it, a lot more diagrams. This was put out by the Department of Agriculture, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, and it's Agriculture Handbook number 335. You can go on the internet and call that up. You can download it if you want to print it all out. I searched around, I found this issue here, I think it was $12. But it's just like brand new. We'll take a break in between this part of the course and another part, and y'all come up and look at these books.
Can I interrupt you? What was the name of that website you said to go to?
I'm sorry, say that again. I have
You said to buy the books. What was the name of that you said?
The website, she said.
The
You
website,
said
Somebody's school.
eBay. Oh, the other one, Abe's, A-B-E-S, Abe's Books. What that is an organization of booksellers. And when you go in there, you ask for the title, and if you know the author, they'll show you every dealer that's got them and show a list, starting out the lowest price to the highest price.
okay, thank you.
This is the Bible, more or less of beekeeping, called ABC to XYZ of beekeeping. And it's like an encyclopedia. It's all alphabetically listed. You can open it up. Every little detail is in here. And I have a book at home. I didn't bring it. It was written in 1865. Bees were just like they are now as they were back then. There's not hardly any difference. Everything you read about them. In fact, they were loading them on trains, hives on the trains in the Chicago area in 1865 and taking them to Florida for the citrus crop, but the Civil War got to interfering with it. So they told you how to take it off the train, go overland for so far, then put it back on another train to keep going further south. The one that you're going to need when we're working on the top bar hives, if you can, this one's a new book. It's available online. This guy has a website called Bio, B-I-O, BioBees. And they, are promoters of the Top Bar Hive. He's been working with these for years and years and years. This is in England. But like I said, it's the same thing. The bees are still the same over there as they are here. That's a real good book. It's got a lot of pictures in it, and a lot of good information, so you can thumb through that one too.
What's the name of that?
That one's called The Barefoot Beekeeper. Any questions so far? Why do we want to keep bees? I'm going to go through a lot of this. A little accelerated rate. A lot of people want to keep bees as a hobby. They just like pulling bees, they like selling the honey. Our main purpose here, if we're going to top bar hives, is pollination. You're not going to get rich selling any honey off of this top bar hive, but you'll have plenty for your table. Most of this has to do with conventional hives. So this stuff I'm just going to kind of skip over because it's not going to pertain to what we're doing tonight. Okay, here's one. How many people in here are allergic to bees? Everybody is. That's why when you get stung, it hurts or it swells up or your throat swells shut, and some people have more violent reaction than others, but we're all allergic to them. As long as I've been handling, I still get stung on the fingers, mine will swell up. Because I don't use gloves, I can't feel the top bars or any of the hive parts. And I wind up mashing one between my hive tool and my hand, so I get stung. A lot of people, their throat swells shut. And you wonder, why does these things give us so much trouble? Here's one, he stung somebody, and you've always heard the story, well, he's going to die. It is because he pulls all his entrails out, leaves a stinger in him, and that stinger has muscles in it. It looks like two boxing gloves wrapped around two hacksaw blades with a scoop on it. And these two hacksaw blades have backwards teeth, and it's pulling itself down into you while these two boxing glove looking things are pumps, and they're pumping venom in you. Another picture of it here, right in the middle, is where all the venom is. And this is the barb that sticks in you. Those are the two sides that is split in the middle, and these things work, like I said, like two hacksaw blades. And the venom shoots down this tube, gives this little scoop. So that's why it hurts when you get stung. Africanized bees. Everybody asks me, well, how about the Africanized bees? First thing I tell them is the African bees that we hear so much about is what the beekeepers in Africa use. That's their bees. They make way more honey than we do per hive because these bees are so aggressive. And that's why when you interrupt their nest, not just 5 or 6 of them come after you, hundreds of them come after you. And instead of getting stung 4 or 5 times, you have a lot of venom stuck in you. They suit up full suit when they're working their hive, but that's what they've been doing for years. But A&M says approximately 75% of our feral bees around here are Africanized. I can't vouch for it, I'm just passing on what I was told. We'll skip through some of this. It will get you outside, even with the top bar hive, because you've got to check on them, especially this time of year. Make sure everything's okay. So when the honey flow starts in May, you've got a hive full of worker bees to bring the honey, and you have to have room for it too. Going to make new friends. One of the main benefits are, and that's why most of it here is for the pollination, for your garden, your fruit trees, your flowers. Everyone benefits in the long run. your flowers will be more brilliant, vibrant, I guess you might say. Because when you have a garden, you have your cucumbers, they wind up with a hook on the end, they weren't pollinated right. And that's one way to avoid that, is make sure you have bees around it. This guy, he's really been after his work there, covered with pollen. Pollens are just little bitty babies on your flowers. Now, he looks like he's really had his whole body down in one somewhere. And this is one you can see where he's got his pollen basket. We call that a pollen basket. It's packed full. He's taking that to the hive to mix with honey to feed to the brood and to feed to the queen. They mix it with honey and they call it bee bread. If you've ever heard that term, that's what they're talking about. This is pollination in a commercial tomato farm. The guys own these boxes, they almost insist on you bringing in at least 6 frames, these are conventional frames. And they pay them $250 to $300 per hive to set it in here to pollinate all the tomatoes. Almond crops, tomato crops, alfalfa, just so many of our crops have to be pollinated. Then when he gets through, these are cardboard by the way, they're disposable. He'll take the 5 or 6 frames out of this one and 3 or 4 more and put them back in a conventional hive, and he takes those home. And these things are burned up and not allowed to be used again because of maybe transferring disease or something to other hives. But you can see the tomatoes, it must be doing some good because these vines are really loaded. I got a friend that takes about 5,000 out to California every January to pollinate the almond crop. They pay him $250 a hive. Then he brings them to Buna and they split them, go back to Minnesota with 15,000 hives. You can also sell pollen. This is a pollen tray that fits underneath a conventional hive, and it's rigged up so if you remember back the bee that had the pollen baskets under its wing, as they go across the grid, it rakes these off and drops these pellets. It's not really in focus, and it's not the projector's fault, it's where I got this at. Those are pellets about half the size of a BB, and they sell these to health food stores and for making, there's a special feed you can buy for beehives, and it's got corn syrup and the pollen and everything to feed them in the winter if they're out of stores. You can only put this on here for a day or 2 during the week, because if you don't take it out, you're going to starve the hive. So it's a real time, what's the word I'm looking for? You really got to be on your timing on the thing. Time-intensive procedure here, making sure this pollen tray is pulled out at the right time. If you want to produce honey, all you take off of your hive is what we call surplus. You don't take it off. You don't want your bees to starve through the winter. And this is something you're going to have to get to know. Like at the end of August, September, you look in there and you've got maybe 10 or 15 frames of honey. You could probably take 6 or 8 of them out then. Or just during the year, go in there when you want fresh honey, pull out a frame and take it in your house. The conventional hive, they stack them where they just have supers that just have nothing but honey in them. No larva, no brood. They extract it all with an extractor, come back, put the empty hive back on the bees and tell them to fill it up. We don't have that option with the top bar hive. Can we harvest the honey? There's nothing left to fill up. They have to start from scratch, build the comb back. And we take the comb and everything. Any questions? I see some of you looking like, what's he talking about? So anyway, we only take surplus honey. Cut comb honey demands a very high price on the market because it's labor intensive. You really got to work at it to fill out the combs in it. You're going to cut up and package. Top bar hive, that's all we have is cut comb honey. So we're one step ahead of the conventional guys, but still you're not going to get enough off there to sell enough to do any good. Extracted honey is what you buy in the store. It's in a jar. It's been run through a centrifuge and they sling the honey out of the comb, strain it, heat it, kill all the enzymes, kill all the pollen, strain out what's been killed. So you don't wind up with raw honey, you wind up with processed honey. In some places even add corn syrup to it to make it go farther. They're not supposed to, but there's a place in Houston that does that. But they've got to put on there what's in it. But extracted honey is, like I said, what you buy in the grocery store. Some beekeepers process it and they don't heat it. And that's still considered raw honey. It's not heated. And that's the one if you buy from your area, you get the benefit of the pollen and the enzyme that's in there from your local foliage, fauna and foliage, they call it, I guess, flower and fauna. Back to the surplus honey, home consumption. That's about all we're gonna be able to do. Top Bar Hives is home consumption, give some to your family and friends at Christmas time, but you're not gonna wind up with gallons to give away. If you think, well, I'll just run 4 or 5 Top Bar Hives, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You might as well run 1 conventional hive if you want that much honey. Because you won't be able to do it with a Top Bar Hive. Honey is shipped in barrels. I know what it is. It's 660 pounds a barrel. I used to ship 3 or 4 a year. Using 3 a year with 100 hives. That was strained, one heated. But if you get big enough with conventional hives, you can ship it in barrels. They'll bring you a food grade barrel, you fill it up, they come back and get it. A conventional hive, your basic hive components, you have a bottom board, you got a high body, and then you got your frames with the foundation. You've got to put foundation in these to make sure they're going to build the comb where you want it, not where they want it. You got an inner cover that goes on the top. And if I had some of those here, I could be able to show